vegetables. So today we're going to be making healthy heart foods for anyone who wants to lower cholesterol or improve their blood pressure. And it's really, that's one of the easy preventable ways is with your diet, with lowering cholesterol, fruits and vegetables, fibers, Mediterranean style diet. So I've just chosen a couple of recipes that are quite easy to make. And instead of buying a whole beetroot and steaming it, if you have the time, by all means do it. But pre-bought steamed beetroots are just as good. And it's always a nice dish to make people is beetroot carpaccio. It catches their interest, a nice way to eat beetroots. So I don't know if everyone on with us with a call now, Stella?
There's one person we're waiting for. There's another one who signed up, but she's going to watch the recording because
okay,
she double booked something, so it's okay. She can cook it tomorrow. And sure. Rosie, but we're waiting for Lily, but I think we could get going.
Okay, sure. So the first recipe that we're going to make is beetroot carpaccio, and you can use rosemary or sage. Now I saw Stella, that you have got some sage from your garden.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So
because I'm a little bit of a hippie, and I actually burn sage when it dries.
Nice.
And it's such a lovely smell.
It is a lovely smell.
They say it clears the energy of the room, but I love the smell of dried sage. So yeah,
maybe an ancestral thing for you.
Maybe. Yeah.
What do you burn it, Stella? What do you burn it in?
You can buy these little kind of like copper pots.
Yeah.
And you just put it in there and just light it and burn it. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So it's actually, it's similar to the Greeks, what they do, the Greek Orthodox, my family is Greek Orthodox, they burn dried olive leaves in church. It's like an incense, and it's like, again, it's all very ritualistic, it's like kind of clearing the energy. And so I like that smell, I just kind of, it's a cultural thing. But then sage, the hippies do it with sage, and I just love the smell. It's so cool. So I love sage.
Olive leaves are very good for health in general. Olive leaf brings down blood pressure. It's drunk as an antiviral as well. Olive leaves are medicinal, very medicinal leaves of the plant. And as you say, they also use them in burning and clearing the air and stuff like that, energy. But olive leaf extract is... So
if you take a leaf off of olive, you can boil that and make it into a tea?
Yeah, yes. So you can dry it in the oven or in the sun, and then you can steep it in tea. It's quite bitter. It's very bitter. So be mindful that it's quite bitter, but olive leaf extract is great. They usually mix it with honey, Comvita honey, and together with the Manuka honey, it becomes super antiviral tonic. Yeah. So the first recipe that we're going to make is the beetroot carpaccio. And we've chosen beetroots because they are wonderful amount of folate, B9 in them. It's known as a blood tonic. And the B9 and the B9 and the folic acid is going to tone your blood. So it's going to build your blood, and also it increases stamina in athletes. So they drink beetroot juice. It can increase their stamina for up to 9% performance per activity that they're doing, because it helps with the lactic buildup in muscles.
Oh, really?
So did everyone buy their beetroots already? Did you find it easily?
I steamed mine.
Oh, great. Okay, great.
Pam?
Yeah, I got it from the supermarket.
Wonderful. Okay, so I want you to open your beetroots and just set them aside, or have them cooled and set aside, and you want a nice plate to present them on. They obviously taste better when you've steamed them yourself, as to if you've bought them steamed already. But you know, it all works out as long as you're eating your beetroots. Then we're going to make a wonderful onion type of relish to go with this salad. It's a red onion relish. I don't know if you had a look at the recipe. It calls for vinegar and some water and Chinese 5-spice.
If you don't, I never use Chinese 5-spice, actually. I've got tons of spices, but I don't have that one. I guess I can.
Okay.
I can.
You can substitute. You can have a little. Have you got any star anise?
Yes.
Okay, so what you could do is when we are making our vinaigrette pickling vinegar with our onion, you can add 2 star anise to the rapid boil, and we're going to boil it for 5 minutes, and a pinch of cinnamon at the end you can add, and that will. So Chinese 5-spice is wonderful because it contains star anise, fennel, cinnamon, licorice, ginger, clove, and all of those. I just say to people to buy Chinese 5-spice in terms, because it really gives it a depth to this pickle that we're going to make. But it's also wonderful if you're new to Chinese 5-spice. It's great in a stir fry with noodles. Really lovely, aromatic, sweet. Yeah. So we're going to start our broth first. So we're going to need a pot. And in our pot, we're going to put 1/2 cup of water. And let me just read what I wrote. So we're going to, I think it's 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1/2 cup of water. And then I want you to slice your red onions quite fine. If you've got your red onions.
Oh, loads.
Talk to us about
Was it 1/2 cup of water and 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar?
Into the pot. Yeah, into your pot. And then just.
can you talk to us about apple cider vinegar and how amazing it is?
Yeah, so apple cider vinegar is naturally antifungal. It also regulates blood sugar levels. So it keeps your blood sugar levels down. And when your blood sugar levels are stable, everyone knows that you don't have highs and lows, energy crashes. So you're just going to mix the two in a pot like that. We're going to pickle our onions with.
Will this pot be big enough?
Yeah, perfect. You're going to just do 1/2 an onion. And who likes onions? If you don't like onions, cut them smaller. If you like onions, cut them bigger. So my onions, so if you imagine your onions, they're going to lay on top of your beetroots on the salad. So whatever way you like to eat your onions, cut them that size. Are you happy with onions that size? I think they look good.
Yeah,
it's up to you. Yeah. So I want you to put your pot onto like a medium heat.
Should we put the onion in now?
Yes, into your vinegar water. It's going to make your kitchen smell quite pungent, but I like it. Okay, you're going to put in a pinch of sea salt and a tablespoon of honey or maple syrup.
How much did you say?
And your Chinese 5-spice, a teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. And then we're going to bring this to a rapid boil for 5 minutes. I like seeing all your kitchens. That's great. I like your kitchen. I feel like I'm somewhere in the countryside by your house. Where am I, Pam?
How much maple syrup?
North Essex.
Just
Essex
a tablespoon. Oh, lovely. A tablespoon.
Where are you, Pam?
It's north of Colchester, a place called Great Bentley.
Okay.
And a generous pinch of sea salt.
Yep.
Sea salt is better than table salt if you're worried about your blood pressure.
Why is that?
It's just the sea salt has more minerals in it. It's unrefined. Yeah. So the minerals actually add more nutrition, like calcium, magnesium, iodine, all of the natural stuff. If you're just having pure salt, if you're just having pure table salt, you're having all kinds of other things that they've kind of stripped the salt away and added things to make the salt flow better. I think it's magnesium.
Is that why people rave about the Himalayan pink salt?
Yeah, because it's also got iron. That's why it's red. That's why it's pink. It's the iron content. If you imagine very, very ancient ocean that's got bits of iron in it, it's kind of bled this pink color into it.
Ah.
So it's naturally pink. I always wondered, actually.
Yes, it
I
should be
use
natural.
it, but yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Candice, thank you so much.
Yes.
In the onions goes the water, the vinegar, the 5 spice, the maple syrup or honey, and a bit of salt. Yeah.
Perfect. And
Okay.
your 5 spice, yeah, it's a teaspoon.
Has anyone ever seen the Michael McIntyre sketch about 5 spice?
No.
I suggest you look it up in YouTube, and you will have such a laugh, because he talks about all the spices in the kitchen cabinet and that they all have personalities.
That's so
And he
cool.
talks about 5 spice being, anyway, you have to watch it. 5 spice feels like they're superior to everybody else in the kitchen cabinet. So they're 5 spice. And he does this whole sketch. It's just hilarious.
That's fine
So watch
subject.
it.
Whoops, sorry. So once everyone's got their apple cider vinegar, their water, their onions, their a little bit of sweetener of choice, a little bit of salt, and 5 spice, then you put your lid on and you bring it to a rapid boil for about 5 minutes. And in the meantime, I want you to thinly slice your pre-cooked beetroot on a plate, layering over one another how you would like to present the outer layer of the plate. And in the center, I would like you to put a handful of rocket, arugula, or spinach, any greens you like.
Not always easy to find rocket, actually.
No, but it's actually easy to grow. If in the summertime, I grew it last year. I need to do that again.
Right.
Because it's a weed. It's a weed in Italy.
Mm-mm.
So we're going to do that with our beetroot.
Mm-hmm.
And the vinaigrette from the onion will taste quite nice with the beetroot. We'll add it when it's cooled down. So, yeah, I think eating beetroots like 3 times a week would be a great way to add the health benefits for your heart.
Right, right.
About juicing. What's your position on juicing? Because lots of people use
Candice,
juicing.
Yeah.
I'm showing you my plate. Does that look okay?
Oh, well,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that looks great. So
Woo.
that's looking good already. So
Yeah.
now I would like you to set aside some walnuts that you've crushed. Crushed walnuts, just give them a bang or break them up into a few pieces.
Is it possible to use another nut than walnut?
Sure, whatever you like to eat. That's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you.
I don't eat nuts, so I could maybe sprinkle some sesame seeds or something.
Yeah, sesame seeds, and we're going to put some either feta cheese or vegan cheese. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I've got some feta.
Okay, great. So those are going to go on top of your greens as well. So is everyone smelling their vinegar cooking, their onions pickling kind of?
Let's get the dog.
Should smell quite sweet. Just until the onions are soft.
I had a nasty accident just over a year ago, and I've lost my sense of smell,
Oh,
Oh goodness.
which is a real nuisance if you're cooking.
Is there any way you could recover that?
Wow. There's a slight possibility it might come back.
Uh-huh.
It's not as dreadful as it seems, but it's just slightly annoying when you're cooking because
Oh, he's actually very scared.
you do use it.
Sure.
How about your sense of taste?
So you don't really know if you're having too much flavor sometimes.
Well, luckily my husband likes everything really, really hot and really, really spicy. So if I do overdo it, it doesn't matter.
Then it's okay. Now, does everyone have a jar that they can put their, once their onions are cooked, you can put them into when they're nice and soft? Because with the rest of this, we're going to put them in the fridge later with the rest of your onions, and you can eat it with absolutely anything. So I've got some. The reason I chose walnuts again is just because they have omega-3, but you could always sprinkle on some ground flax seeds.
Ah, yeah, I've got some.
Sprinkle some of those for your omega-3 for your heart.
Omega-3 is really high in flaxseed, right?
Yes,
Is that one of the highest forms?
It's one of the highest. The only reason why we don't see a lot of flaxseed oil to cook with is because omega-3 gets destroyed with heat.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's why we like to eat our flax seeds like with warm water or with cooler or in smoothies or on salads. So we protect all those omega-3s.
So if you put flaxseed in porridge and make it, it will affect it. So you should put it in at the end, right?
Rather put it at the end with maybe some yogurt or something like that, where it's
I didn't know that. Thank you, Candice.
yeah, otherwise you won't get as much omega-3 benefit as you would like. So my onions have cooked. Can you all see them? They're just looking a little softer.
yep. How long did you cook them, Candice?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
So I don't have any feta, believe it or not, it's not very Greek of me, is it? But I do have manchego, so I could grate some manchego on there, right?
Yeah, but it'll look nicer on the salad if you cut them into cubes. So
Cut them into cubes. Okay.
So cut two like pinky size pieces and then cube them.
Okay.
I've got some feta. I love the all goat's feta.
Yeah, it's lovely. I don't have any.
So let's put some on my salad. And just take your onions off the hob now. Let them cool down. Just set them aside. Any cheese goes with beetroots. Any cheese really goes with beetroot.
Is everybody here, are we vegetarians or everyone eats vegans? Any vegans here? No.
I've
Not
got
vegetarian, not
I've got
vegan,
vegan
90%.
feta here,
Oh.
which looks okay, but we're just going to try a piece first.
What is it?
Does it taste good?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Try a piece.
Are you vegan, Margaret?
No, my daughter's vegan. So if we're all going to eat this, then
you should.
have it. Really like it.
What is it?
That's actually very nice.
I do not hear.
Yeah, it's actually very good.
What is it,
Is it?
Margaret? I did not hear.
It's by BioLife.
No?
BioLife is the brand name.
Oh yes, be alive, be alive. Very good, very good. So you do want your onions to have a little bit of a bite in them, so they don't have to be mushy, they can just be soft. What I'm going to do is just set them aside to cool down, and then at the end we're going to just drizzle our onion vinaigrette over our salad before we eat when it's cold.
We leave the onions in there, right?
Yeah, so we're just going to leave them in this pot like that, Stella, and just set it aside where it can cool down, and we'll move on to the next recipe.
Okay.
And your beetroot salad should kind of look something like that.
Lovely. Lovely starter, huh?
Great.
Nice starter.
Do we drain the onions before we set them aside? Or
No,
just
we just
set them aside?
we're
Oh,
going
no,
to keep
yeah.
we're going to keep all that liquid, and we're going to, if everyone's got a jar or a Tupperware, something they can put it in after in the fridge, and it's a lovely aromatic onion that goes very well with hummus or a meze or a sandwich, and you can eat the rest another day. Oh, lovely.
The
That's it.
onion.
That looks great.
You can choose.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes. So the onion's going to go into a jar after whatever's left over.
Okay.
And you can use it as a meze. Yeah.
That looks really nice.
Okay, now I wanted to talk. So while we wait for that to cool, we're going to move on. And I just wanted to talk a bit about mayonnaise, because everybody loves mayonnaise, but it's actually one of the worst foods you can eat for your heart. Did you know that?
Very, yeah, I can imagine. Even homemade, I guess.
Oh, homemade is better because you can choose olive oil to make it better. But when you're purchasing mayonnaise, they're using the cheaper oils, nasty oils that they've overly processed. So did you know that every single cell in your body, every single cell is round? It has a fatty layer around it, every single cell. And that's how the cell communicates with other cells, is through restricting information through the cell wall of fat. So literally, we are the fat we eat. If we're eating denatured oils, our cells are going to be denatured. They're going to break down and not function the way they should, therefore causing inflammation in the body. That's what inflammation is. Inflammation is the body not being fluid with the right omegas. So omega-3 brings down inflammation. Good stable fats can also bring down inflammation if eaten in the right quantities, like coconut oil, monounsaturated fat from avocado, extra virgin olive oil. All other fats should be thrown away, canola, sunflower, unless it's cold pressed sunflower oil. That's the way to protect your body. So basically, I'm going to make an avocado mayonnaise, and it's great. It lasts for up to 3 days in the fridge. So before I start getting into my avocado mayo, I'm just going to show you how I make it. I don't know if anyone wants to make it with me. Yeah. But what I would like you to do is, for the second recipe, we have the butternut squash with butter beans. Has everyone got their butternut squash cubed?
Yeah.
No. Can I ask you something? Because I always struggle with butternut squash.
So
I
hot.
can never peel it. It's a
Okay.
nightmare. So I usually just put it in with the skin and
Okay.
cook it, and then I take the flesh out afterwards because they're impossible to peel. How do you peel a butternut squash? Someone tell me, please.
You slice them, not you can, no?
But then you spend ages taking that peel off. I don't have the patience all the time.
I use a knife, so it's dangerous.
I found an easier way today because I'm always scared I'm going to cut myself. This time I cut my squash. I cut a piece of my squash, laid it down flat, nice and stable, and then I cut I cut it down onto the chopping board.
Okay.
So I cut the top off, cut a piece off. So you're just cutting a cylinder, and it's much safer, I found.
But
Yes.
could you peel it? Could you peel it?
You can peel it, but your peeler needs to be very good.
Yeah.
It's so hard, isn't it? It's such a hard surface.
Yes.
Life's too short. It's going in like this.
Yes. Okay, great.
Okay.
So pop it in so long. That's great because we're going to puree it anyway.
Okay, so then I can just take it out from. Okay.
Yeah. So I want you to put in some quartered onion and some garlic and stick it on a roasting setting. And then while we do that, I'm going to talk about the mayonnaise. So here I've got my cubed butternut squash and some garlic. And we'll put the sage in. We'll put the sage in about 5 minutes before it's done.
And the garlic is just very lightly just made into little pieces.
Just, yeah, really rustic, big, thick pieces are fine.
Should you put olive oil on it or not? Just
Yes, a
Right.
tablespoon of olive. Yeah, a tablespoon of olive oil.
Do you use a lot of garlic on that?
I do because I love it.
Okay,
But
this is
you know,
one.
1 to 2 cloves, 1 to 2 cloves for 2 cups of butternut squash.
So just chopped garlic.
Yes, just roughly chopped, so you've got them pretty much whole,
Okay.
quartered. Sorry.
All right. Okay.
So my grandmother, bless her, had heart disease, and when she was being treated, she was in her 70s. She took it on herself to start eating raw garlic
Wow.
because she said it would really help her heart. This was many years ago, of course, and God, it was so strong. Every time we saw her, it would just like permeate. It would come out of her skin as well as her mouth, the smell. But she swore by it. She swore by how.
Oh yeah.
Her
Again,
heart, right?
again, if you ever look in the supermarkets or at a market or someone who specializes in garlic, there's something called black garlic, pickled black garlic. It's like, or dried black garlic. I think that's what it's called. It's sticky and it's sweet. That stuff is amazing for your heart. I mean, garlic is good anyway. It protects your heart. It's antivirals, antifungal. It's a nature's antibiotic. So yes, she was quite right eating it raw.
I've seen the black garlic, but I didn't know what to do, so I've never bought it.
Yeah, you can blend it with a bit of olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and it's just like really delicious on salad. With beetroots would be nice, or you just eat them whole like that. It's quite nice. Yeah.
Is it
I haven't-
sweeter then?
Say again.
It's sweeter.
Sweeter, yes, yes. It's concentrated.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
we.
Show me how to do the onion. How much onions do we put in here?
So basically, I'm just roasting some in the oven, but we are going to fry our beans, our butter beans. Has everyone got some butter beans?
Yeah.
A minute.
What, is it pre-cooked butter beans?
Yes. I just used organic tinned butter beans because I haven't had chance to soak and cook. And actually, because they soak, they actually digest better for me.
Mm.
Candice, do we have to put the butternut squash in the oven now?
Yes, roast them. So we're going to roast on about 200 degrees Celsius. It depends on how big your squares are of your butternut, but probably around 15 minutes.
Okay, lovely. And then
Have you got yours chopped as yours in pieces or? Yes, great.
in the oven is just chopped butternut squash, the onions, the garlic, and a tablespoon of oil. Is that everything?
That's right. Keep a little bit of onion for sautéing with your beans. Just a small piece.
Never mind. So we need a frying pan and the beans.
Yeah. So we got a frying pan. And then you're roasting at the moment. And then some herb of choice. Stella's got some lovely sage from her garden. I'm jealous. And I've got some sage as well from the supermarket.
Yeah, I've got sage.
Actually, sage freezes.
Perfect. I didn't know that.
When do we put the sage in?
Roughly just before the butternut squash are cooked, you can toss it through the like just at the end of cooking time.
But so you'll remind us.
Yes, I'll remind you. Because it gives off it does the sage does like a bit of heat, so it's good when it's still a bit warm, but not boiling hot, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Sage actually freezes very well as well for a herb.
Okay.
What do we do now?
We learn something new every day with you, Candace.
I'm so pleased. I love all these ingredients. I think this butternut puree is my clients that I've worked for as a private chef. Everybody loves it, children. And you can put it onto pasta as well if they don't like beans.
What are you doing right now, Candice?
Work-wise or?
No, right at this minute.
Oh, I'm chopping. I'm chopping.
I'm
Just-
feeling there should be something I'm chopping and I'm not.
Okay, so I'm going to put some onions into my pan with my butter beans, and I'm going to saute it.
And they're chopped onions, are they?
Yes. With a little bit of olive oil again. It's my favorite oil to cook with. And we're going to saute our butter beans for roughly around 10 minutes till they get really nice and soft. So let's have a look.
We don't need to save the liquid from the butter beans. It's just the chickpeas, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. So the chickpeas you use, the liquid is called aquafaba.
What are we going to do with the chickpeas?
Oh, I'm just going to make an avocado mayo with the liquid that comes off chickpeas. You can make it or you can watch me do it. It's up to you.
No, I mean, what are we going to do with the chickpeas?
We're going to make hummus with it tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to make hummus with it tomorrow.
And you're going to top your hummus off with a bit of your onion pickle.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Yeah. For some more heart-healthy foods.
That's a really good idea with the onions. I like that.
So the reason we like to add a bit of Chinese 5-spice to our onions is because it contains star anise and cinnamon, and they both are antimicrobial agents. And they also have anti-clotting effects on the blood. So it keeps your blood nice and smooth, like improves your circulation.
You put your
And the reason reason we've chosen butter beans is because I'm sure, as you all know, beans brings down cholesterol due to its high fiber content.
Do you eat beans a lot?
I eat beans maybe twice a week. I think that's 2 to 3 times, excluding hummus and things like that. Yeah,
because there's like a different schools of thoughts on beans, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, generally the people who beans don't agree with, they know about it, you know. I don't eat a lot, to be honest with you. I'll have a little, and it seems to be fine with my digestive system. But for example, my husband John, he won't eat beans, for example. He does not.
They bother him.
They bother him a lot.
Yeah.
So what I would do,
they're okay with beans. You're okay with them, right?
So what I would do for him, for example, is I'd put the butternut puree on a whole wheat pasta for him or something like that instead.
Okay, instead of the beans, I see.
Instead of the beans. And this puree that we're going to make, everybody loves with beans or with pasta. So is everyone hearing their beans sizzle now?
Yeah. So you put the onions and the beans at the same time in the pan?
Yeah, just a little bit of onion, not a lot. I'm not.
Okay, I like onion.
Depends on how you like your onion. Some people like a little, some people don't mind it. So when butter beans contain iron as well, so that's any vegetable or bean that contain iron are going to build up your blood. The butternut squash contains carotenoids, the really orange color. It's also very good for your heart and your circulatory system. And there's something really comforting when you have that squash with roasted squash puree. It's really comforting and delicious. So I'm going to make my mayonnaise. In my blender, I've put my avocado, my spinach, my ground flax seeds to add some omega-3, just a little, like a teaspoon.
Are you using a Thermomix?
Yes, I am. It's very powerful. I can mill my own rice and quinoa. And then I'm going to put in some lemon juice. I'm always putting lemon juice into my homemade avocado blends. Another way to reduce cholesterol. And this is where I love my green mayo, is you can literally put anything you can find in your house, green vegetable wise, spinach, rocket, watercress, and it just gives it a really vibrant green color. And it looks great on the plate with some smoked salmon. Or just on toast with cayenne pepper. And you can put a bit of olive oil in as well, just so it blends smoothly. Tonight we're going to have a barbecue because it's only 2 p.m. here. Oh, wow. So I'm going to serve this with my barbecue tonight.
Candice, just remind us what's going into this mayo.
Okay, sure.
I got as far as avocado.
Okie doke. So I've just put in 1 whole avocado. You can put any amount of avocado. If you have them very soft and you want to use them up,
That's a good idea.
you can add it as much avocado as you want. Any handful of greens, spinach, rocket, watercress is delicious if you're serving smoked salmon or fish.
How about coriander? That's something
Yeah.
like guacamole, then it turns into kind of a guacamole, doesn't it?
Then it turns into more of like a Mexican flavor, great for like wraps and salads. Some olive oil, 3 tablespoons of aquafaba. This is just going to give it the smooth, like frothy texture, like mayo has. That's why mayonnaise is so addictive, because it's that really creamy smoothness, in your mouth. The aquafaba helps to do that. Don't worry if you don't have aquafaba. You don't have to have it. I just want you to have a recipe that makes you keep coming back for more. Just watch your beans. Check your butternut. Is everything cooking away now? My oven's a bit high. I'm setting it a bit lower. Whoopsie, what happened? Okay, so I'm just gonna blend up my avocado, my lemon juice. I put in a little bit of Dijon mustard as well, because that's the flavor I'm going for tonight. Olive oil, aquafaba, and ground flax seeds. I've sent it as an email. I think you've got it.
How much in terms of how much aquafaba?
Sorry, say again.
How many tablespoons of aquafaba?
Just 3 tablespoons.
And how much
You
flaxseed?
don't have a Thermomix. You use any a mixer or blender?
Do I use no? Just the Thermomix can do everything now. I don't need anything else.
I don't have a Thermomix. So
You can use any blender,
blender.
any high speed,
Yeah.
high speed. But yeah, I don't need anything else if I've
Yeah,
got that. I'm drinking some hibiscus water. Has anyone drank hibiscus water before?
Yeah,
It's a wonderful
in Mexico
tonic.
a lot.
Yeah, in Mexico they drink it a lot. That's right. Or you can make iced tea with it.
Do you make it yourself?
Yes, I bought the leaves when I went on holiday. It says Mexican hibiscus flowers.
Do you know how long they keep
I
before you use them?
think for at least 6 months, yeah.
Okay.
To a year. Depends on how well they've been dehydrated.
Okay.
But make sure your blood pressure isn't too low, because it lowers your blood pressure.
Okay.
And if your blood pressure is very low, it can make you feel a little bit dizzy.
Okay.
But that's one way to improve your cocktail with a bit of hibiscus flower.
Do you put any salt in the avocado mix?
Yes, just a pinch of salt. I'm just having a look. I actually put in a teaspoon of flax seeds, but you can put in half a teaspoon or a teaspoon.
In a tablespoon.
You put in a tablespoon. It's okay. Just add a little bit. Add a little bit more aquafaba so that it doesn't become too thick. But first test it.
Okay, well, I put in more aquafaba. That's why I did that. I put in about 6 tablespoons of aquafaba.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. It'll mix through. How much avocado did you use?
1 avocado.
Okay.
We'll see. Let's see how it comes out.
Did you put in a little bit of olive oil?
Yes, and lemon juice.
And lemon juice, salt. Just give it another mix.
Should we take the beans off the heat yet?
Yes, if they're nice and soft, are your beans feeling soft? Just squish it with a fork.
Yeah. Yeah, they're soft enough. They were
They're soft
edible before we started, so.
Yeah, so put them off now if you're happy with your beans. Yeah. Let me try my avocado. It's looking like guacamole, but it's a bit smoother. It's looking good. Oh yeah, it's delicious. So now we've added omega-3 to our avocado.
Avocados have omega-3, right?
Say again?
Don't avocados already have omega-3?
No, they're more about fats.
More good, good fats, that's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Mono unsaturated.
Okay.
But it's also high in fiber. And I just wanted you to have an alternative to eating mayonnaise. Healthier alternative to eating mayonnaise.
Yeah, it is creamy, isn't it?
Is it creamy?
Mm.
So the aqua fiber made it nice and creamy. I can hear all your blenders in the background working away. That's great. And this will keep in the fridge for up to 3-4 days. But I'm sure you'll eat it before then.
I see what you mean about the aquafaba making it smoother.
Smoother and creamier, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it gives it a
That's
more
a good tip.
mayonnaise texture in your mouth. And the spinach and the leftover greens that you have, it
Really
just
good.
adds a bit more nutrition to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Really
smooth.
good.
Really good. Okay. Just check your butternut squash and add your sage, roughly chopped. So I've got my sage here. I'm going to roughly chop it.
How much sage?
Handful, a good handful like that.
My squash still feels. My butternut squash still seems to be very firm.
Okay,
So-
I would Pam, put in a little bit of water in the pan, maybe like 100 ml, and then whack up the heat a bit more.
I can't whack up too much because I'm in an arbor, but I'll raise the shelf.
Okay, raise the shelf. Yes. I love Argus. I've cooked many a time on my friend's Argus. She lives in Little Baddow.
All right.
I'm gonna switch my oven off because it's ready.
Mine's really hard as well, my
You're okay? So just go back
Yeah.
into your oven, add a little bit of water, and
yeah, I've done it.
Stella, if you can put the heat up a bit so we can just.
How about yours, Margaret? Is yours cooked?
Not really. So we're going to put a little bit of water in. Do we put the sage in the oven, or is the
Not
sage?
yet.
No.
Keep it back. Keep it back for a little while. Oh yes, Stella, yours is whole, so you're gonna need a little bit higher temperature, maybe like 250.
Vegans use a lot of that aquafaba, don't they,
Yes.
Candice? I've seen that in vegan recipes, like cake recipes and stuff like that.
I've made aquafaba meringues before.
Really?
It was one of the most trickiest things I've ever done, but it does work.
For vegans, yeah?
For vegan, yeah, because the family I worked for had a vegan son. He is 12 years old, and he taught me a lot of things with aquafaba.
Did he make that decision himself to be vegan at the age
Yes.
of 12? It's
Yes.
amazing, isn't it? These young people now.
I know. He goes to boarding school, so we had to teach him to eat a variety, because he was a bit stuck in his ways and eating a lot of bread, and kids like a lot of carbs,
Yeah.
Well, so we did
the unhealthy vegans. Veganism can be quite unhealthy if they don't eat enough vegetables.
exactly. No, Stella, did you see my hibiscus water? So,
I did, my love, it's lovely, but I have low blood pressure, so I can't have.
oh yes, don't have it. It can make people feel quite low.
But it's good for high blood pressure, right?
Yeah, great if someone's got high blood pressure. Very hydrating. It's very good. It's got the similar properties to cranberry, so it protects you against urinary tract infections.
So now we're just waiting for our squash to cook, right?
Yes. So what? How are you all happy with your mayonnaise? Did you make it?
It looks great.
You tried it, Pam? Did you put your finger in it?
So now I just want you to go back to your salad while we're waiting for our butternut squash. And you're going to take a teaspoon. You're going to taste your liquid. Just give it a taste. Should be quite vinaigrette-y.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and you just using a little bit, drizzle it over your beetroot, and then taking a few pieces of onion and just strewing it over your beetroot carpaccio.
That's delicious.
And it should be slightly sour, a little bit sweet, and very aromatic.
Yeah, it is.
And that will really jazz up your beetroot salad. Are you all happy with that?
Yeah,
Delicious.
That looks lovely.
So a really nice, easy recipe.
Oh, I missed that, Candice. Is the onion on there as well?
Yes, so if you just have a little look there, I've got my onion. Just a little bit of onion, not a lot. Don't overwhelm your dish.
Right there.
So basically what your beetroot's going to do now is further kind of marinate in this pickle juice you've made. And the rest of your onions, I want you to just jar it up.
That vinegar with the sour anise is delicious.
Yes, the sour
I've never
anise.
had that taste before. That kind of sweetness and aromatic with the vinegar. It's really lovely.
This creates completely different flavor than what we eat every day, isn't it?
Do you experiment to find all these flavors? Is that what you're doing? You're like kind of creating?
Yes, I'm at the moment I've bought 2 books on herbs and spices. And I'm learning because I'm very heavy-handed. I'm very creative, but sometimes I need my palate to be refined so I can recognize the 2 flavors or the 3 flavors that really work. And I'm really trying to understand and learn that as much as I can now, because you can make a very simple dish, but you can have 2 wow herbs or spices that just make that dish so unique and healthy and tasty. So that's kind of what I've been spending my lockdown doing.
Amazing.
So that I can actually create some wow facts when I feed people this summer.
Because they're kind of unique flavors, you know, like with beetroot. I mean, I wouldn't really know what to do with beetroot apart from juice it, or I do it with like parsley and olive oil and a little bit of salt, but it's like the same old. It gets boring.
Yeah, and you know, dill is also very nice. If you get any dill, it also creates a different flavor. But there's my with beetroot dill. Yeah.
Roasted beetroot is very good.
Yes, roasted beetroot with dill and yogurt. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yogurt, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a whole milk yogurt and dill, you can mix together with a bit of lemon juice and dip your beetroot into that. It will be very, very complimentary. So that's your jar of pickles left for tomorrow. If anyone wants to come over and share some with me.
I'm there.
So your salad is ready to, either you can put it in the fridge and serve it cold, or you can leave it at room temperature for your family to sit down later.
It was actually so easy to make, the pickled onions. I never would have imagined doing that, like making pickled onions.
There's a lot of different recipes online, but I specifically made this one because it's quicker and less fuss. But you can also saute your onions for a very long time with butter and then add a bit of sugar or honey at the end, and then it becomes more sticky sweet as well. But that's for like roast meats and things like that.
Yeah.
This is a cleaner, kind of like a vinaigrette for your salad, and you've got all the properties of onion in there.
This is for the well-being crew, right? We have to be careful.
Well, yes. There are the no-nos and the yes-yeses. So another powerful ingredient you can always add, and once you have washed your lemon, is the zest of the lemon. So I'm going to just take some zest and I'm going to put it into my butternut squash puree.
So Candice, basically you're taking the butternut squash, the onion, the garlic, sage, you're putting a bit of lemon zest and you're pureeing that as well.
Yes, you do, and I'm just going to puree it, and you can either use butter for a little bit creamier, or you can use olive oil. It's up to you what you want to use. And we're going to stick it in the blender and we're going to blend it. And then we're going to stir it through the beans or the pasta or whatever you want to serve it with. The herbs are going to get blended as well. Okay, I'm going to check everybody check their beans again. It's another 10 minutes on. The sage smells amazing in mine now. It complements the squash beautifully. So there's my squash and my veg. I didn't make too much, but it shrunk a bit. I'm putting it straight into my blender.
We put the sage in the blender.
Put your squash. Did you add your chopped sage to your hot squash so it could release all the smell? You should be smelling sage.
No, I didn't know you were meant to do that, sorry.
That's okay. If you just toss it through the hot butternut squash till it releases all the like sagey volatile oils, you can smell it. And then pop it all in your blender. Stella, how is your squash? Has it got softer?
You are mute, Stella.
Oh, maybe she doesn't know.
No, I'm on mute because I was using the blender and it's so noisy. So my squash, I think, is going to take longer than everyone else's because it's in a big piece. So
Okay.
You guys carry on. I'll finish after. So I know that I need to just blend it all together and mix it in with the beans.
Yes.
With a bit of butter.
Bit of butter or a bit of olive oil.
A bit of butter.
Okay.
This is in the blender. Some olive oil and some.
I think the butter sounds appealing because of the sage.
Okay. Yes, butter and sage go very well. So olive oil, bit of salt, bit of pepper, or butter. It's up to you. And then you could also add a little bit of alternative milk. A couple teaspoons. I'm going to add a little bit of oat milk. Just not too much. Just blend it and see that it's mixing properly. It needs to become a smooth puree.
You should try.
Okay, I'm going to make a noise. So I'll just mute it for a second.
How's this? Where do we put the turmeric? Wasn't there a note of turmeric?
Oh, yes, a pinch of turmeric in your butternut squash.
When you puree it?
Just when you're pureeing it. Yes,
Oh.
just to give you some extra color.
So that's for color and antioxidant.
And antioxidants, that's it. And it really complements your butternut squash beautifully. And I personally add a little bit of honey as well. It's up to you if you want to or not.
A bit of what, pardon?
I add a tiny bit of honey.
Honey, sorry.
And some turmeric. Salt and pepper.
Oh, Pussycat is coming in the kitchen.
Yes, I have a cat and I have two dogs.
Oh, wow.
A lot.
My dog's being banished out of the kitchen now.
Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Springer Spaniel.
Oh, he's so lovely, Louis.
He's beautiful, Louis, King Louis. He's the king of the house.
Yeah.
But he's the greediest. Spaniels are very greedy dogs, and they can smell anything, you know. So the garden, the door could be shut here in the kitchen. He could be right at the end of the garden. As soon as I open the fridge, and I take out anything that's maybe meat or cheese, or he's right here. He's just, I don't know how he smells. It's incredible smell. And you know, when we eat, sometimes we have to close him out because he just stands and stares at you. He just will not let you eat without, you know, in peace, because he's got those sad spaniel eyes. So it's like he's starving, even though he's just eaten. Yeah.
I'm really happy with my puree, so I'm just going to show
See?
it.
Oh,
It's a
lovely.
really lovely golden color.
Oh,
Golden butternut squash. It smells lovely. I've got the roasted garlic, the sage. I like to put a little bit of honey in mine and turmeric. Just lifts it a little bit. And some grated lemon zest.
Okay.
So I want to see how you're going to serve that with the beans. So you mix it in the beans.
So basically, you're going to get a plate. I'll do this, and we don't want to create a mess. So I'll just show you my countertop. I'm going to get a plate.
Put the beans on a plate.
Yeah, I toasted my beans rather well.
Yeah.
So if you can see that, I'm going to put them on a plate like this. I only want that much. I'm going to put my lovely salad that I made here. Top it up with some cheese like that. Now my beetroots would have taken on that lovely vinaigrette. A few more leaves. So we're getting there. And some chopped walnuts or your nuts that you like on top. And the pickled onions, make sure they can be seen. And then for the squash, basically you mix it in, but not too much. Just add it to it like that. Because beans can be quite dry. So this just adds a nice, you don't want to cover the beans up totally. You want to see them so people can tell what they're eating. So basically, always try to plate up well. People eat with their eyes first, don't they? And that's my dish.
That looks super.
My vegan dinner. Heart healthy.
And what about the mayo? Do you do the mayo with it?
No, I'm not. I just wanted to show you a healthy mayo.
Okay.
But you can.
But you can put the mayo on the side there as well.
Yeah, you can. I'm not in the mood for it just yet because I'm going to have a barbecue later. But you can do a little bit like that. But then you've got all the colors, if you see that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
nothing up too much. And the nuts and just maybe some onion so people can see the onion as well.
So on that plate, you've got all the colours, you've got fibre, you've got antioxidants.
Fiber. We have our omega antioxidants in the squash. Squash is full of beta carotene. Your omega. Squash is full of beta carotene. We have the beetroots full of folic acid. Great for building your and toning your blood, improving the circulation as well as it carries more oxygen. And then we have the red onions, which have just literally been steamed in an apple cider vinegar with star anise and Chinese 5-spice. So the flavors here are quite aromatic and creamy, kind of comforting as well.
Yeah, and then the apple cider vinegar is like a digestive as well, isn't it? It helps you digest.
It helps you digest. It helps with antimicrobial properties. So it's great for the immune system as well as it creates like a digestive, as you say. But it also helps your body to prepare digestive enzymes because it's got it's like tart, you know, and it makes you salivate.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar every morning and swears by it. She says it's good for her immunity. It's good for, it's quite a strong taste to have in the mornings. Margaret, is there something you want to say?
Yes, I'm just going to say thank you so much, Candice. It looks fantastic, and the three of us are now going to go and sit down and eat it. So
enjoy.
I've made everyone wait for their supper tonight. We're just going to go and do that. But
I'm so
lovely.
Enjoy your dinner.
Enjoy. Let us know what you think. Take some photos.
Oh yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then. Bye everyone.
Bye. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Pam?
All right. I wasn't quite sure how to display the beans. They're not the most attractive looking dish, but
okay.
Hopefully.
The squash will give you a lovely color.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And the salad is really bright too.
And the salad's quite bright, yes. So you've got yellow, green, and red, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's going to look. I might just sprinkle some green herbs on top of them, and
so
it's even nicer. That's great, brilliant.
Well, enjoy it, Pam.
Take some photos.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something?
Sure.
If you make, if you use squash to make a soup, it has to cook longer. Do you destroy the goodness in the squash?
You know, squash squash has to be overcooked for a very long time for it to really break down, for it to be non-nutritional. But if you're cooking for somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes, you know, an hour, even if it's cooked in a lot of water or juice, that protects it. If you over fry it, yes, then you're going to destroy things. But if you're cooking it in a 20 to 40 minute fashion, or in a big stew with lots of juices, then it's okay. It protects it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's only if you're almost carcinogenic it, when it's like black on it.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Carcinogenic.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Very, very good.
That's all right. Enjoy.
I'm looking
Send
forward
you
to
the
making it.
recording, Francois.
Thank you.
Pardon?
Merci.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy your dinner, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.